Well, if you started running a victory lap because you've sourced a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, maybe what, for 50, 60,000 rupees, and then you add another 20, 30,000 rupees on these really cool in-zone H9 Sony noise-cancelling wireless gaming headphones, which you can connect to your PlayStation 5 and to a gaming PC, and then you've spent maybe 60, 70,000 rupees on this set. But then you might want another controller, so another 5,000 rupees. What if I told you that all of this combined is not even half the price of a fitting TV to match this sort of power on your console? So what you really need to be in the market for, if you're not already and you're using maybe a 4 or 5-year-old TV, an LED or an LCD or a plasma, and I don't know, one of those box TVs, we need to have a conversation about that. You need to purchase one of the newer TVs on the market which are built for gaming. What are the things you need? Well, you'll hear terms like a higher refresh rate. You don't want 60 FPS. These consoles need to be future-proofed at least 120 FPS. Ray tracing should be a feature, and we've spoken about on the show, which you can use and show off to your near and dear ones. That's not all. You also need features like a variable refresh rate, and most importantly, bright HDR 4K Ultra HD screens is the norm if you have a console. So what I did was, I did a lot of research. I don't just give you advice on the show. I personally do a lot of research on my own devices and the questions that you guys ask on our social media handles as well. One question we always got was all about the LG C1, the predecessor to the TV that I emptied my bank balance out on, the LG C2. This is not a review unit. This is not sponsored, of course, none of this is. This is a genuine Tech Today review after you have nothing left in your bank account. The LG C2 OLED, is it a true bang for your buck for gaming? Well, that's what we're going to find out on Tech Today. So what I've gone for is the 55-inch LG C2. If your viewing distance is 8 to 10 feet or 11 feet, you can make do with this. Of course, a bigger TV is even better. You get this for 65 inches, but if you get a good deal on the C2 for the 55-inch variant, I think it does the job, especially for gaming, because you're going to be sitting a little closer. Now, why do I like this TV? That's because LG really is the OG when it comes to OLED screens. And these magic remotes, which are pretty cool on this TV, you can literally use this remote and point to anything on WebOS. And this pointer approach is amazing. Even elder people in your family won't have an issue trying to figure out the remote. It has a laser pointer, and that's what's truly magical about the magic remote. If you don't want to use it in this magical form, then you can just use these hard buttons. The thing that I like most about this, if you're using this and hooking this up with a PlayStation, is if you're playing a video game, you switch on the game and you automatically detects that the game is on out here. Now for these purposes, we can just start it. And supposing you're playing a game of FIFA, because everyone's playing FIFA, we're all going football crazy. Even whilst you're playing this game, you can see my formation right there. You click on the settings tab right here, and this is a quick setting that is meant for gaming. For instance, if you want to change the frame rate or you want to assess what kind of frame rate is on the screen, it's available over here. Do you want to switch on VRR in some particular mode, variable refresh rate, which is really interesting. You want to change the particular mode. This is a sports game, so I've put it on sports, but you can switch it to standard, FPS heavy, RPG, RTS. So I think that makes this a very interesting device. You can also go into multi-view, where you can automatically go side by side, picture in picture, AirPlay something, launch a combination of any of these, even have YouTube on whilst maybe you're streaming or watching Tech Today. There's a game optimizer right here. You click on it and it opens a bigger menu right here where you have a bunch of settings that you can geek out on. And honestly, this seems very ordinary for most people, but like I said, if you are talking about a gaming console being hooked up to this, look, these gaming consoles are incredibly powerful. In fact, they're overpowered. Sony took a while to launch the PlayStation 5. So did Microsoft with the Xbox. They are overpowered, future ready for the next 4 or 5 years. Hence, your TV should be as well. Not only on the hardware front, but also on the software front. And LG with the C1 and now the C2 has done just that. And I think that gives me the sort of functionality and capabilities that a gaming rig or a gaming setup with a PC does. To some extent, that customization makes the gamer inside me, very, very happy. You know, we keep talking about shallow depth of field and what these big sensors do in the iPhone and how they're getting so much more like professional cameras. But that's happening on the C2 as well. And if you're watching a show like Wednesday, the second or third most popular show in Netflix viewing history, but when I'm talking about shallow depth of field, I think LG's chip really does a lot of work over here, because while this is cinematic and one of the most popular shows on Netflix, you can see how the background is blurred perfectly. And maybe that's how the filmmakers or the people who made this show wanted it to be. Look, you can't go wrong with even a Samsung or a Sony TV if that's in your budget. But small features that make the LG C2 worth the money that you're paying for. And it's a lot of money, so you got to be mindful of that. For instance, there's low input lag across all of its HDMI ports. It really does support Dolby Vision gaming, which is really cool. You can sort out all the variable refresh rate features that you want. It has AMD FreeSync Premium, NVIDIA G-Sync, and of course it comes with the right sort of support for your console. Now that's why I invested in this TV, but it does come with its fair set of quirks, and we have to tell you that on Tech Today as well. Now, if you're in this sort of a room, which is the Tech Today studio, there's light coming in from all corners. In the day, that can be a little bit of an issue with this glossy finish. The reflections really don't let you enjoy the charm of the TV, which you can right now in darker environments. Even the studio lighting right now, if this was a slightly lighter scene, you would see some sort of a reflection, but that's a problem with a lot of TVs. You have to sacrifice something to get some gains, especially if you like gaming or watching content at night. If you do some market research, you'll find out that brands like Hisense, View, or even Xiaomi are offering great TVs, which are not OLEDs, they could be LEDs or QLEDs, with decent features nearing the 1 lakh price point. You shell out a few bucks more, and you could get the LG C2. Technically, if you shell out a little bit more, you could get the G2, and then a little bit more, you could get a Sony OLED, but that's an endless cycle, so let's not get into that. The C2, if you get a deal, maybe from one of the retailers offline, under 1,20,000 rupees, is a fantastic TV. Stellar performance, especially if you're into gaming. So summing it all up in one line, if you're willing to shell out a little bit more than 1 lakh rupees and want the latest and greatest in the world of gaming from LG as an OLED TV, the C2 is a safe bet.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.